Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to get through this thing called Life as a Dance. And I am Wendy, one of your hosts, along with my talented husband, Taras.
And if this is your first time to our channel, do us a favor, click like and subscribe so you can stay up to date with all of our latest content, from our live streams to our news and updates, as well as our podcast. Today, we're talking about Dancing with the Stars, specifically the Prince edition and the shocking elimination of Mark Ballas and Whitney Leavitt. But before we get into that, let us know in the comments below. Were you shocked and surprised by the elimination, or did you think it was justified? So let's get into it. Here we go. Wendy.
So, well, first off, how many of you out there are Prince fans like myself? I wore purple for today, and funny story, I didn't even do that consciously. So Prince was definitely in the universe for me today. But also, anyone who was a Prince fan back in the day or still today, are you part of the Purple fam or the Purple Army?
Ooh.
Yeah, so... But so sad to not have Prince still with us today. What an incredible talent, and what an amazing night of music, because I love all of his music. We had 6 stellar performances. Well, 12, because each contestant did 2 performances. To be respectful of time, I don't think we have time to talk through every contestant, but I know there was some drama with some of them that we're going to talk about. But, you know, Robert every week just blows my mind. Whitney, that jive that she put together. Elaine had a spectacular night. I think one of her strongest nights. Of course, we're going to talk about Whitney and the surprise elimination with that. She had standout performances. Her cha-cha, anyone that dances know how hard cha-cha is, and Vianney's waltz was just beautiful. We had Dylan, who did some great performances. Wow, someone as tall as he is. And Zach, his brother, was out in the audience. That was pretty cool. Alex, who had a really great night, and we could talk about that, but seems to be a favorite of Derek's. He seemed to have a lot of things about saying that she was going to definitely be in the finale. And then we had Jordan, who had a pretty good night as well. I definitely had some favorites. Did I leave anyone out, Taras? I think I got everyone.
I think so.
I think I covered it.
Good job.
Thanks.
Good job. I'm going to pipe in and just kind of echo what we kind of talked about last episode, where I think the pros need to be ballroom pros and not other genre pros, especially when you are doing majority of the dances are ballroom and Latin. It does require a certain skill set. Kind of talking about Jordan's performances, I feel personally she's the one that should have been eliminated from the show, and not because of her talent, but the execution of Whitney and Mark's routines were superior to Jordan's and her partners. That is just my perspective, and that is my opinion. But being a ballroom professional, I think it's one that's worth sharing.
And you're entitled to your opinion.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. But I do want to get into a little bit about people going to social media and posting their feelings, which they have every right to do. Specifically, Mark's dad, Mark Ballas, former world Latin champion, went to Facebook and shared his thoughts, saying that the best couple got eliminated. And the comment section of that really, really lit up. Most in support of Mark, but some not so much. What are your thoughts? Write them in the comments. Did you think that Mark is the most talented couple and Whitney, or did they deservingly get eliminated? You go ahead, and I'm going to pull up just that feed, and we can kind of just show some of it.
Oh, you're going to show some of the comments.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you know, that's what people love or hate about Facebook. It's a platform where people can just share their opinion, and you know, opinion is fine, but when it gets angry and hateful and kind of bullying, that's a whole other thing. We're talking about dancing, the art form of dance, which is something not to be fighting about.
All right, so here's the comment section. If you can see on your screens, the heading says Best Dancer Eliminated, and a great photo of Mark and Whitney in this really great line there. And that was their Vianney's waltz, which I do believe Carrie Ann said something about that. It was, she noticed a hop in there. Yeah, I noticed that hop too, but I noticed some of the other performances had way more, maybe not so great technical executions. But going back to this comment section, it got pretty fiery, and Corky is not a person to hold back on anything. And if you can read the comments, but I'll just read the very first one that says, "What an effing BS elimination, best dancer goes home." Well, that set off the entire feed for that comment section. So if you are a parent of somebody, whether it's a dancer or sport or anything, I could see getting kind of fired up about something like that, specifically when it's such a high profile. But do you think it's appropriate to go to social media and be that outspoken about it?
I mean, that's the world we live in right now. I mean, my opinion is my opinion. I think, as a father, to express himself, and people, as I said, they're entitled to their opinion, but I just don't know where it's gone in society where people have to be hateful or fighting with each other. It's like, be respectful of, it's his son. So of course he's going to express his feelings, but everybody is an expert.
Yeah.
Let's put that out there.
And it is pretty interesting when somebody kind of argues with him about it, because it is his son and he has every right to do that, and to kind of like belittle his feelings about it, I thought was kind of interesting. And again, going back to the execution and the choreography and the musicality, I do feel as though that his performances were deservingly to be in the top 3, if not
for sure
in the top 2.
For sure.
Even though I will say I haven't always been a fan of Mark Ballas's style of dancing. Sometimes he's a bit sharp, a bit too hard for me. I'm definitely more of a fan of Derek. Personally, is a little bit more classic, a little softer, still has all those layers in there. And I did actually, side note, get a little opportunity to meet him years and years ago at a competition. And what an outstanding young man at that time. Very well-spoken and very thoughtful. And when you talk to him, he looks at you in your eyes and has a conversation with you. Not all stars do that.
Are you talking about Derek?
Derek, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And people might be like, which one,
Yeah,
Derek
which one?
or Mark?
Yeah, sorry if that wasn't clear.
I did, in case I missed something, I feel like Corky had every right to express himself, and I don't believe he said anywhere in that feed anything about any of the other contestants should have gone home in place of his son. So to have people come at him the way they did, I don't think that was fair. But if we were to also think about if judging Prince was there himself, anyone that knows Prince was so authentically him and was never apologetic about it. He was so soulful and funk. And so that's kind of Mark Ballas. So if you were looking at the performances, not only from a technical standpoint, but embodying what Prince music stood for, routines, hands down. Cha-cha. I mean, just from a technical standpoint, what Whitney was doing as someone with an experienced eye, technically her leg action, her cha-cha action she was performing, that was shocking how good that, because cha-cha is hard. And then her Viennese waltz, did she have a little bit of a bobble? But I mean, it was, compared to everything else she was executing in that dance, it was magical. I just blown away that she got voted off, but that's a whole other topic we could talk about. I mean, you're talking only a portion of it is the judges that have the experience and know all of what they're looking at, but we're talking about the general public. Yeah.
And to kind of echo what you said about Mark, he's also a very accomplished musician. He and his wife have their own little band, and he has an ear to hear certain rhythms or sounds in that, and he's able to showcase that in his choreography as well. So good job there. Question to you all watching. Some of the comments said that Whitney, as a professional dancer, had no right to be on that show to start. What are your thoughts about that? If one of the stars has dance experience, should they be allowed on the show, or should they be complete
beginners, amateurs?
Beginners, yeah.
I mean, we could go back. I mean, I could just start naming off other past contestants. I mean, Nicole that danced from the Pussycat Dolls. I mean, we could go on and on about lots of people have had dance experience, but to say that Whitney is a professional, maybe I shouldn't speak on this because I don't know enough about her but I don't believe she's a professional ballroom dancer.
No.
And we already had this discussion last week of dancers that are on the show that are amazing dancers, but they're not ballroom dancers.
Right.
And it's shown it's not really worked to their advantage. I mean, I think ballroom dancing really shows the weaknesses or the holes.
Yeah. And Corky was really funny. He made a comment. He said, just because I'm a world Latin champion, and I can't remember how many times he was, he's like, that doesn't mean I can go on the stage and dance ballet, which is very, very, very good point to make. Disciplines are though just that, and they don't always cross over. Sometimes they may hinder the style. Ballet doesn't always translate well into ballroom, although it is a skill set that adds to it, but you still need to train specifically in ballroom Latin to be able to showcase that style. So
overall, it was a great show. But again, seeing Whitney go home, I mean, this is kind of a little funny. We had a couple come into our studio who are not dancers at all, and they were very excited about the episode. They were talking about it, and they were like, well, I didn't really understand that jive.
That's funny.
So they were not fans of Jordan's jive. They didn't get it.
Yeah.
So you don't know what's going into the voting, whether people, if they're looking up the person, they don't like them, who they are as a celebrity. Is it all based on their dance ability?
Well, we are moving into the finals going into it next week, and we do believe that we're going to be seeing their freestyles, which everyone's always excited about. Yeah, but you said we were talking earlier about Whitney's journey and what she had said. Do you want to share that again?
This is what we've done for the past 20 plus years of just how powerful dancing is and what Dancing with the Stars represents. I think everyone saw and sees each week just the emotion that comes from being a part of this show, like the transformation, the emotional impact that it has on these celebrities. Okay, so before we tie things up here, I do want to mention just how impactful dancing is. Like when you see these celebrities, I think every time Julianne interviews these stars, they get emotional and talk about how this experience has changed their lives. Whitney even said, I believe, in interviews since her elimination, that she felt like this was a breakup. But one interesting thing, Taras, you mentioned when we were watching the show, you were like, I think they knew that they were getting voted off. And I did see on, I think, social media that Mark and Whitney did say that they had a feeling that they were getting voted off. I didn't read enough to know what gave them that feeling, but I thought that was interesting.
That is very interesting. That is true. When we were watching those results, when they looked at each other, there just wasn't like this agony of defeat look on their faces. So I felt like they kind of did know it was coming. But anyway, if you enjoyed this episode, do us a favor, click that like button, share it with somebody who may be interested in it. And again, big news, in 2 weeks, we'll be live streaming the Arthur Murray Holiday Ball professional competitions, specifically the Future Champions and the Open Professional, both in rhythm and smooth. So if you want to check that out, be sure that you subscribe to the channel so you can get the update as soon as we go live. In the meantime, we'll see you.
And let's party like it's 1999.
Yeah.
Woo!